OCTE requires building level reporters to submit 3 reports every year. Each report requires that you gather different data, enter it into CTEIS, and submit it on time so that OCTE can compile the information to generate the necessary state and federal reports. Your enrollment data is essential for all state-required reporting. It supports every aspect of career and technical education reporting, including determining added cost funding, supporting expenditure reports, tracking student progress and program completion, monitoring program quality, identifying students for follow-up surveys, and meeting federal demographic reporting requirements. Often, enrollment data is used to inform local reports for various district purposes as well. The records you enter are crucial to the reporting cycle and must pass various validation checks. To ensure smooth and efficient enrollment process, we strongly recommend beginning data entry in the fall. Your primary task during the fall enrollment period is to review your instructional design and input course information. Additionally, you should begin entering staff details and start student enrollments as soon as possible to avoid delays and minimize errors. To verify your data is entered accurately, use the CTEIS validation tools before other seasonal reports require your focus. This will allow you ample time to contact the CTEIS help desk and resolve any problems should you require assistance. OCTE uses the 4033 Expenditures Report to verify that districts are spending money properly on CTE programs, and it's due in early November. Keep in mind that schools show how they spent 61A1 and 61B funds received in the previous year, and that you are required to report expenditures for any course that appears on your 4483 enrollment report. The expenditures report is crucial to determining the costs of running a CTE program. Any incomplete or flawed reports can lead to the recapture of funds. Make every attempt to complete this report accurately and on time. The follow-up report is unique in that it requires you to survey CTE students who became concentrators in a CTE program and left school. These surveys help the state to determine how effective CTE programs were in helping students find a career or success in continuing education. Your survey data is due in January, and you may begin surveying your students in the fall when the opening of the follow-up module is announced in CTEIS. After you complete your surveys, you will then enter the information you collected regarding your students' continuing education and employment into CTEIS. To prepare for the end of the year enrollment report, the suggested spring tasks are that you ensure all UICs and MSDS fields are verified. It is encouraged that you review your instructional design to confirm that course data is entered accurately. You may also begin entering grades, work-based learning experiences, and credentials. For the CTEIS and MSDS match dates, which occur during the second week of May, all students must be enrolled in at least one course section with accurate and up-to-date UICs. This is essential for students to be counted toward the 61A1 and Section 61B funding. The Enrollment and Completion Collection Report determines the final enrollment counts for your CTE programs and is pivotal in determining the 61A1 and 61B funds your programs are eligible to receive. It is due in late June, and to complete this report, you will enter all course sections, segments, and competencies taught throughout the year into the CTEIS database. You will also include your final student enrollments, grades, work-based learning, and credential information. And if you have a CPID administrator role, you will need to input your CPID option selections due the beginning of June. Please keep in mind that while the enrollment report is due in late June, your student enrollment entries must be completed before the final May data extraction date for your students to be counted for funding. Once the report is completed and submitted to OCTE by the CPED administrator, the spring enrollment report is processed by CTEIS to determine an unduplicated count of CTE students and provide those students with a completion status. The student's exit status is also updated via the MSDS and determines the students you will survey during the follow-up reporting cycle next spring. If at any time you wish to know when a specific report is due, you may find the due dates online at CTEIS.com, where they are listed in the right panel labeled Important Dates. Each seasonal report is also described and published on the support site at support.ctis.com. When you are ready to begin working on a report, you may find it helpful to break your task down into a series of steps. For each report, you will follow the same procedure. Collect data, verify your data, input the data into CTEIS, and complete your report. First, identify the kind of data you need to collect, as each report has slightly different requirements. In general, you will want to gather data on course sections, student demographics, enrollments, and teachers. If you are completing the expenditures report, you will instead gather expenditure information as it relates to your programs. Follow-up reporters will generate a list of completers to survey and will collect survey data. As a CTEIS reporter, try to practice good validation techniques while striving for accuracy, reliability, and timeliness in your data submissions. You are accountable for any data you report using CTEIS, so remember to record the date when you retrieve information from a student management system and to observe standard practices when handling confidential information. For the most reliable data, go to the source that is closest to the information you seek. That is, the source most likely to have first-hand knowledge of the data. As an example, program instructors should personally provide and verify information regarding the students enrolled in their programs. Before submitting your data, review it and ask common sense questions. Does each course section appear in your report? Are the starting and ending dates correct? Are all staff members accounted for? Are students in your classes receiving the segments and/or competencies that will allow them to become completers of a program? When you are satisfied with the validity of the data you have collected, you may input it into CTEIS. Data entry methods vary for each report, but all entries are managed using the CTEIS website at ctis.com. To log in, you will need to speak to your Level 5 Fiscal Agent Authorized Official about setting up a My Login for Business account, and then use your My Login username and password to gain access to the CTEIS homepage. Instructions for data input are found within each of the report collections on support.ctis.com and are discussed during virtual training sessions. You may view and download the reference documents from the CTEIS homepage as well. Upon entering all data into CTEIS, you may begin the process of completing your report. As a building level reporter, you may use the data entry menu in CTEIS to navigate to the enrollment completion page. Here, you will indicate the year and use the validation tool to check for inconsistencies or errors in your building information. Warnings appear if your data falls outside of the norm. They will not prevent you from completing your report. And if you receive a warning, you should review the message and understand why that portion of your data has been flagged by CTEIS. Errors, on the other hand, must be corrected to complete your report. Helpful troubleshooting reference guides can be found on support.ctis.com, or you may contact the CTEIS Help Desk at 800-203-0200. 0614 extension 128. When a building's data errors are cleared, you may mark that building complete, which locks your data from further editing and checks that building off your list. Your data becomes available to the 61A1 fiscal agent to review, and then it is submitted to the CPID administrator for a final review. Finally, the CPID administrator sends the report to OCTE. Click the link called CTEIS Navigation to learn the different areas of the CTEIS website and how to use them efficiently.